Welcome back to the Raiders franchise, and once again we are on the road this episode against the Jacksonville Jaguars. As you can see, what Josh Jacobs did last week against Kansas City in a simulated game, a game in which that we pulled off a bit of an upset and took down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs 21-17. It was on the back of an over 200 rushing yard attack between Josh Jacobs and Thomas DeShong. Jacobs, who had a 50-plus yard touchdown run, and it's a big win to put us to 3-2 on the season. And I am really impressed with what this team has done to start the season. But as we reshift our focus now to what is at hand today, we have an explosive offense of the Jacksonville Jaguars led by Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, a whole lot of players, a whole lot of weapons. And the Jaguars, who are also pretty decent this season, are looking to pull off a big win at home. The Raiders suddenly 3-2 are thrust into a position where we're towards the top of the division right now. And I know it's a little early on the season, but could we be thinking about a potential playoff team here? As if we can get to 4-2, the outlook would be pretty good. We'll see if we can get the job done. Those two bright young quarterbacks will show down. Up next, it is Raiders and Jaguars. Kickoff is right now. And Trevor Lawrence will take the field first as the kick went into the end zone for a touchback. And Trevor Lawrence and the offense will come out into the field. Lawrence has not put up a statistically incredible season, but he has done what he needs to do to get the victory, as the Jaguars come into this game also 3-2. Etienne on the ground to start, and Etienne will lose 2 yards. That was Max Crosby getting in there. Now Etienne once again will get stuffed in 2 yards, and they're back to original line of scrimmage, 3rd and 10 early on for Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence will throw it deep on his first pass of the game, and it's caught, and it's going to be a huge gain. Trevor Lawrence delivers. That was Calvin Ridley on the big catch, and Lawrence now will throw to the end zone. It's picked off. Devin Bush in the end zone, and Trevor Lawrence on his first pass gets him all the way down to the red zone. In a second, he throws a pick in the end zone. That's going to be one of the wildest first possessions you will see all season, as Thomas DeShong will come out of the field now and lead this Raider offense. After a crazy start, he's thrown 6 touchdowns on the season. We'd like to see him cut back on those interceptions, as he threw 2 last week against Kansas City. Still got the win, though, as over 200 team rushing yards did the job, and Josh Jacobs looks to continue off what he did last week, as Jacobs picks up 5 on the first play. Now DeShong will run, and Thomas DeShong will get himself a first down and a gain of 6. Now we'll hand off once again. Josh Jacobs gets 3. And this run game is finding their rhythm this season, as DeShong will roll, and he's got some speed on the outside, outrunning, and he outran Orlando Skies, the first-round pick. And that's really difficult to do, considering Orlando Skies is one of the fastest edge rushers in the league. DeShong will throw on first down, and it's Jacoby Myers picking up the catch and getting himself to midfield. And now a handoff, counter run, and it's blown up in the backfield. Only got back to the line of scrimmage barely, and now 3rd and 3. DeShong will throw it down the field, and he's got Jacoby Myers all the way to the 10-yard line. And what a throw from DeShong. At the 10 now, handoff, Josh Jacobs, and Jacobs fumbles, and he puts it on the ground, and the Jaguars pick it up. This is one of the weirdest starts to a game I have seen, as both teams hit a big pass to get to the 10-yard line, and then immediately turn it over, and now Lawrence will hit Zay Jones and get it to the 36-yard line, and they get out of their own territory. As to over the middle, a pass missed, and that was an open man, potentially getting them past midfield, as Lawrence will throw underneath, and we'll have a connection. We'll set up 3rd and 4, very much manageable for Trevor Lawrence, who throws a quick slant route, and he's got it. Christian Kirk. And the Jaguars moving, as I can't get over how wild this first quarter has been, as Christian Kirk catches another pass, this time underneath for a gain of 6. And it's been a lot of Lawrence through the air, as once again he throws it, and Etienne out of the backfield will just have enough for the first down. as Lawrence has not needed to run the ball a whole lot, but they will go to ETN this time as he gets up a big 12-yard run, and Lawrence now checks it down to ETN. A lot of touches for ETN, even in the passing game, as RPO, quick pass, and it's caught Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram's had a great season so far, and they are looking to get the ball to him early and often. As they throw outside, and there's Evan Ingram once again. And Ingram racking up some catches already as they go ETN, stretch right. And ETN will get brought down by Nate Hobbs, but getting 6 yards, and the Jaguars are moving the ball so well, and this time it's caught by Calvin Ridley, 3rd and 1. Very manageable as it's thrown outside, wide open, touchdown, Christian Kirk. And this time when they get in the red zone, Trevor Lawrence does not make a mistake. DeShong in the offense taking over as pistol formation, triple option, and DeShong, everyone bid, and Thomas DeShong's got a lot of room, and no one's on the screen for the Jaguars, and Thomas DeShong's gonna go all the way, touchdown Raiders, 77 yards for the rookie quarterback, and one of the longest runs you will see a QB get. 77 yards, as not a single Jaguar was even in the same universe as DeShong, as he ran untouched, and Josh Jacobs was just trying to keep up and he couldn't. You see the Jaguars trying to track him down and they just could not do it. DeShong is a special athlete. The Jags moved it down the field with a great drive just to allow a 77-yard one-play touchdown on the other end. It's got to be demoralizing, but they go right to Evan Ingram on 1st down for a 3-yard connection. And now over the middle, there's Evan Ingram again, and we need to get someone on Evan Ingram. He has racked up catches already in this game, and now once again throwing, and that's Evan Ingram 3 straight plays, and Lawrence is finding Ingram early and often, and they tried to get it outside to Christian Kirk. It's knocked away. 2nd and 10. A handoff to ETN. Nowhere to go. 1-yard pickup. And now it's 3rd and 9, and Lawrence has got to rely on his arm to get this 1st down. He's got a lot of time in the pocket. He's going to throw it deep, and it's caught. 1st down and a whole lot more. Zay Jones to the 6-yard line. And that's a great play by Lawrence. We got to get some pass rush in there as they throw quick outside. Touchdown. Play action from Lawrence, and he delivers to Luke Farrell for the touchdown, and the Jags answer very quickly. And the Raiders, I don't think we got another 77-yard touchdown run in us, but we're going to try, as that didn't quite go 77. 1 yard for Josh Jacobs, and DeShong now to the air. We'll throw underneath quickly. That is Jaden Sharu, the rookie 2nd rounder, getting us to a 3rd and 2. Handoff Jacobs. And Jacobs cutting it outside to the 40-yard line. 1st down. Play action from DeShong. We'll throw quickly outside, and it's a little behind Shanny, but it's caught still. 7-yard pickup as DeShong now will take it himself right up the middle, and DeShong making a man miss and cutting ahead. That's a 22-yard run, and DeShong is already at 100 yards rushing in the 1st half, and DeShong play action underneath to Josh Jacobs. It's going to be a 6-yard pickup as DeShong back to the air from the shotgun. He will try and run around a bit. He wanted to bail, then got hit by Orlando Skies. The ball came out, but it's incomplete. 3rd and 4 as DeShong will throw, and it's picked off. Devin Lloyd stepped in front, and it's going to be Jaguar football. And that's a bad decision from DeShong. He threw it late, and Devin Lloyd was just lurking, waiting for that one. That's something you got to clean up if you're DeShong, but we hope with time he will clean that up as Lawrence back to the air will go underneath, and there is Christian Kirk for a 4-yard pickup under center now as Lawrence quick drop, throws caught. That's Calvin Ridley, who with so many weapons, it is hard to make sure everyone is under wraps as Lawrence play action boot to the right will check it down underneath. And it's going to only be a yard, and Lawrence has thrown the ball a whole lot in this 1st half, but there he misses. 2-minute warning hits, and Lawrence now on 3rd and 9. You do not want to give the football back to us, as we are one big play away from changing the momentum once again, as Lawrence outside will fire it incomplete, and the Jaguars will punt the football away, and standing back deep is Kalen Shanny already has a kick return touchdown this season, and he's got to take it from his own goal line. Not many return men have the green light to do that, but there goes Shanny cutting up the field, and Kalen Shanny all the way to the 33-yard line. Could have taken the touchback, but we'll take the extra 13 yards as speed option. We flip it out to Josh Jacobs, and Jacobs will only get 3 yards, but we like to see the aggressiveness from Kalen Shanny, the confidence to return any kick from any situation, but we do not like to see our quarterback getting sacked at a third down. We just set up a screen, and Myers gets brought down. It'll be Jaguar football with a minute to go, and Lawrence and the offense look to get some points on the board before the half as Lawrence takes the shot outside, and there's Evan Ingram, his 7th catch of the first half, as Lawrence make it 8, and there goes Ingram to the 20, and just like that, Jaguars are in position to get a field goal as they go outside. Evan Ingram once again, and he gets the 7 yards. That was a couple seconds to go. Jags are out of timeouts. They throw outside, and it's caught by Ingram, but he couldn't get out of bounds, and the Jaguars, despite going down inside the 10, will leave with 0 points. Ingram tried to get out of bounds, but he couldn't, and Evan Ingram just stacked up 4 more catches. He's got 11 in the first half. And the Jaguars need to do something. They are lining him up everywhere in the slot, out wide, at tight end, left, right, and center. We need to change something in the second half because he is dominating our defense, and we have 0 answers for the passing game. They have 280 passing yards, and our lone touchdown came on one big play. The second half is up next. Can the Raiders figure out some answers for this passing attack of the Jaguars? The second half kickoff is booted deep, and there's Kalen Shanny short of the goal line to take the return, and Kalen Shanny will go right, and Shanny has some room, and Kalen Shanny will take it to the 45-yard line, and that's a great way to start the second half as the Raiders have been struggling aside from one big run. And we'll see if Deshaun and the offense have something for us in the second half, as there's Michael Mayer having a nice catch to the 43-yard line under center now. Play action. Deshaun will load up and throw it deep. He's got Jacoby Myers with a step, and it's caught. Touchdown Raiders. Jacoby Myers over the top of the defense had a step in Deshaun. That's all he needed, and Deshaun throws a great ball, and it's a great play in a great way to start the second half as the Raiders tie it up in under a minute. And now Trevor Lawrence will throw it on the first play for the Jaguars. It's Evan Ingram with catch number 12 of the day. And now another one make it catch 13. How can we not cover Evan Ingram? 13 catches for Ingram, and now a sweep, and that's not going anywhere. Christian Kirk gets stuffed for a 2-yard loss. Lawrence making some changes at the line. He clearly sees something, and he's seen Evan Ingram, but he just missed him this time. 3rd down and 12, and Lawrence will step up, and he's hit as he's thrown incomplete. And the Raiders hold strong after giving up a couple of big pass plays, and they hold him to a field goal. And now Kalen Shanny will take another kickoff as he's fielding it from the 1-yard line, and Shanny will go right again, and Kalen Shanny, he's seen something he liked last time, and Kalen Shanny this time, he's not going to be caught. He's dancing at the 20-yard line, and it's a touchdown Raiders. Kalen Shanny again. He did it in week 1. He does it in week 6. And Kalen Shanny with his 3rd big return of the game. This time he finds the end zone. And the Raiders are on top. 3 big plays, 3 touchdowns. And Trevor Lawrence has got to be a little frustrated because he has methodically moved the Jaguars down the field multiple times only to watch his defense and special teams allow big plays on the other end. But there goes Evan Ingram now on 3rd and 1, and he gets a big catch and run, and Ingram down to the 18-yard line. I don't know how this keeps happening. Evan Ingram can't be covered right now, and Lawrence will throw quickly underneath. But why can't we cover Evan Ingram? These linebackers and nickels and corners and everyone's just struggling. We can't get a body on him. He was open in the end zone there, and Lawrence kind of missed him. But now on 3rd down, they throw underneath. Christian Kirk has a new set of downs. It's goal to go, and the Jags with a clean pocket, throwing Christian Kirk, touchdown Jaguars, and the Jags are back on top, and this has suddenly become a very exciting game of big plays and just historical offense, it feels like, from the Jaguars, and a crazy amount of big plays from the Raiders as we throw a screen to Jaden Sharu, and Sharu will get it to 3rd and inches. And you know where we're going on 3rd and inches. It's Josh Jacobs powering his way through for a first down past the 40-yard line as Deshaun will throw quickly. There's Michael Mayer underneath, and he gets 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Outside now, in the backfield goes Jacobs, and he will get only a yard as now read option. Deshaun, one man to beat for the first down marker, and he spins him out, and it buys him just enough space. They get the first down as he hands it off to Jacobs, but Deshaun is having a great day on the ground. He haven't ran it with them much, but when he has, it's been impactful. But his arm kind of failed him on that one. We need to convert those passes out. Now Deshaun hit as he's thrown under pressure, and it's picked off. That's Tyson Campbell, and Campbell just had that ball gifted to him. Deshaun needs to learn how to throw those footballs away. He has not done that this season, as he is a little too aggressive at times. As now throwing over the middle, Christian Kirk wide open. And I need to know how many yards Lawrence is at. It's probably well over 400, and we are still in the 3rd quarter. Lawrence running the field. I can't remember how many times they've ran this ball. It has not been a whole lot as they throw it to Calvin Ridley quickly. It's going to be 3rd and 7. Lawrence to the air, and another clean pocket, and another open man. When we can't pressure Trevor Lawrence, he just is going to keep doing that, as there's Evan Ingram with another catch. They are just giving it to him in any situation. It's 2nd down, and it's caught. Touchdown, Jags. Calvin Ridley, and this defense has not done anything to help us out, as Kalen Shanny will catch a bubble screen and get 8 yards, and now the offense down by 10. We need a couple more of those big plays, but we can't get any when the rush is off the edge, and we get hit as we throw in, as Deshaun will just hand it off on 3rd down, and there goes Josh Jacobs for a nice run, breaking a tackle, getting out of bounds. And now as we throw a little pop pass to Jaden Sharu, we will get close to midfield at the 49-yard line. And now pistol formation. It's going to be a handoff inside. Jacobs will get us to midfield now. It's 3rd and 6. Now play action, rolling left, and Deshaun will throw on the run. He's got Jaden Sharu wide open, and Sharu with a gain of 29. And Deshaun sets up another screen, this time on the right side, and it's Kalen Shanny. Shanny's so fast, and he gets us to the 5-yard line. And Deshaun handoff Josh Jacobs to the 4-yard line. Can we draw within one score? Deshaun will throw out of bounds, just out of reach. 3rd and goal now as Deshaun will throw, and it's caught. Touchdown Raiders. Jaden Sharu on the slant got open. Deshaun delivers it, and now we are down by 3. But we need to figure out how to stop this Jaguar offense. Trevor Lawrence is threatening to hit 500 yards passing on this defense, and we need to figure something out. Lawrence back to the air, and Lawrence taking a shot. He's got it, and it's going to be Zay Jones this time. Play action now, as I think they just cut the run game out. They don't need it, as Christian Kirk can't keep his 2nd foot in bounds. It's going to be incomplete, and Lawrence will throw quickly outside. Guess who? Evan Ingram. He's on record pace as Evan Ingram makes another catch. Lawrence is hitting 500 yards, and he's closing in on a record himself. And they throw again. Evan Ingram with another catch. This one just for 1 yard. I think they're just getting him the ball. I think they see these close to some sort of record, as they're just force-feeding him the football. And that's 4 more catches on 4 straight plays for Evan Ingram. I have not seen a game plan quite like this. 5 straight to Evan Ingram, who breaks a tackle. And Ingram just marching the team down the field. Finally, they run the football, but it's just not gonna matter if they can throw the football like this, as Lawrence steps up and throws out of bounds. 3rd and 10, and Lawrence slant caught. First down, Calvin Ridley to the 1-yard line. And now with the clock running near 2 minutes to go, they go with Travis Etienne, who fights his way in. Touchdown, Jaguars, and that might put it away. If the Raiders can't find one of their big plays and fast, it might be all over as DeShong starts the drive with a 5-yard run, hits the 2-minute warning now. But Orlando Skies comes off the edge, and that's a fumble, and picked up by the Jags, and the Raiders turned it over. And that's the 11th overall pick, number 11, Orlando Skies, with the pressure, the sack, the fumble, and now the Jaguars running the football, first down and goal. Raiders are using their timeouts, but it's not really going to matter much as he's going to power his way in, just barely gets it in, touchdown, and that'll be the game. 45-28 as DeShong on the final play will just get sacked, and the Raiders, unfortunately, are going to lose this game, and it was a wild one as the Jaguars had a historic day through the air, and as you can tell by how this game unfolded, this team has some very, very exploitable issues, and Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence, whoever was putting the game plan together, whoever was watching the film, they did an insanely good job. As I guess they just said, yeah, these linebackers, they can't cover. Just force feed the ball to Evan Ingram, as this team is very man coverage heavy. And even though Devin Bush is a great blitzer and has great athleticism, as you can see, 19 catches for Evan Ingram. That almost broke a record. But Devin Bush isn't a skilled cover guy, at least, and they exploited it. And they had a massive day. But, you know, let's get some positive news with our college football update for this week. This is your college football update, and weeks 3 and 4 of the college football season are in the books, and let's tell you a little bit of what happened as USC demolished Oregon. And once again, as you can see on the right side, Raleigh Cordula and Lance Bowen are absolutely on fire. Half of Lance Bowen's completions this season just about have been to Cordula, and this is the quarterback we have been waiting to see Raleigh get in. He is solidifying himself as probably the best player in this draft as USC moves up to number 1. We had an upset as Florida State goes down and Miami picks up the victory, and Miami jumps from 20 to 14 as they start the season 3-0. Texas over Kansas, as Texas may have moved down in the rankings, but that is not an indictment on how bad they played. They had a dominant run game. Just some teams ahead of them looked a bit more impressive. Alabama gets their revenge from last year. They beat LSU to move up to number 9 in the polls, and that is one of the teams that just looked more impressive. They had a better win than Texas, as LSU drops all the way down to 15. And some less surprising results, Texas A&M beats Baylor, and Michigan takes down Iowa. But the polls, top 7 is the same 7 teams, except for the 1 and 2 switch, as USC has just looked dominant this year. And as we look ahead to next week, we have a big Penn State-Michigan game, number 5 versus number 8. Miami, number 14, will take on number 2 Clemson. And in week 6, we have Washington State, who is surprisingly at 13, taking on UCLA. Ohio State takes on Northwestern. Iowa State takes on West Virginia. But those are some games for next week. How about we talk about some players? And I want to talk about one very interesting player from that Miami-Florida State game. Probably the most unique player in this draft class. We have running back, fullback, whatever you want to put him at extraordinaire, Jesse Duke, Miami running back weapon. I don't know what you want to call him, but finding an NFL comparison for him was pretty hard because there's just been no one like him. But as a runner, I would have to say LeGarrette Blount, just physical, powerful runner. He is 5'10", 246, nearing 250 pounds. He is an absolute bowling ball of a player. And to no surprise, his biggest strength is he does not go down very easy. If you remember some of what LeGarrette Blount did in his Tampa Bay days, his New England days, just whenever he was playing, he was one of the hardest players to bring down in the entire NFL. But where he differs is he has a lot of skills. And if you want a little bit of a split for what he has done on the Miami offense, he is lined up at fullback, he's lined up at running back, he is lined up at wildcat, he's even lined up at tight end. And I'm being honest, if it wasn't for the fact that he was only 5'10", if he was like 6'2", 6'3", he would have been a tight end and probably a pretty good one because he's got good hands. He actually can catch the ball very, very well. As you could see, last season he had 38 catches for over 360 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he is catching the ball this season so far. They line him up everywhere, and despite being, I guess, listed at a running back position, he only lined up at running back for about 50% of his snaps in his career at Miami, as he spent another like 25% at fullback, another 10-15% at wildcat goal line packages, and another like 10% at tight end. He's even lined up out wide a couple of times, not that often, but he has lined up out wide too. He can line up just about anywhere. Is he an explosive runner? Of course not. Is he super fast? No. He's never had a long run in his career. His longest run's 28 yards, and he's another guy who probably should be in a committee. He's definitely not an every down, 3 down, your bell cow running back, because he's so versatile. You should probably have another guy in there that can, handle some carries. But he's not a typical running back, and that's a negative for some. It's a positive for others, and I have it as a minor negative because you can't just throw this guy on any offense and he'll be amazing. I mean, on a team like the Lions, he'll be a lot of fun. You see what Jamal Williams did at the goal line, getting that many touchdowns. Imagine Jesse Duke on a team like the Lions. He'd rack up touchdowns. If you get someone who has a creative mind, I mean, you see how the 49ers use Kyle Juszczyk, and if you get Jesse Duke in there, who's an even better runner of the football than Juszczyk, I mean, imagine the possibilities of him. You get him in a system where he can either be a great short yardage, powerful goal line back, or a guy who can just line up just about anywhere. You might have a fun utility player on your offense. I mean, he's about one passing, talent away, one arm strength away from being, Taysom Hill-like in some aspects. And I think he very well could be a 3rd round pick. I mean, second day is maybe optimistic for a player like him, but while he doesn't have a high ceiling, you know what you're getting. You're getting a really decent contributing piece of your offense, and depending on where you use him, I mean, he's a guy who could probably put up a double-digit amount of touchdowns for you every year. It could be rushing, could be receiving. I don't know. It just, your imagination runs wild with this guy, and it's really just a matter of where you use him. I felt like after the disaster of what was trying to guard Evan Ingram with a linebacker, it was nice to look at the best coverage linebacker in this draft, as, like I tried to mention a little bit at the end of the box score, Devin Bush is not a strong guy in coverage, and Divine Diablo didn't fare much better, even though he was, I guess, a bit better. And getting a safety on him wasn't the best. It was difficult, but if maybe we had a guy like Austin Boston, we would have been able to win that game against the Jaguars and would not have allowed 19 catches to Evan Ingram, because he is rangy, he is sideline to sideline, he is flying up and down the field, and he has that kind of athleticism that you'd want from a guy like Devin Bush or Devin White or Divine Diablo or whoever you might want to name that has that kind of athleticism at linebacker. But he is not some loose cannon who just, is a missile without a target or has no sort of instincts or feel in coverage. He has that. And if anything, he is a little too passive in the run defense, and he's not some, missile who's trying to fly in and be super aggressive. He's surprisingly for his athleticism, is very disciplined and very, restrained and keeps his eyes more so on the passing game. He doesn't try to shoot the gaps and go into the backfield and take these aggressive angles. He'll just make the solid, reliable play. He'll let the play flow into him in the run game. He'll let the tackles come to him. And in the passing game, he's a guy who will just stick to his man. And you see, he didn't have a crazy amount of pass breakups compared to other guys you'll see statistically, 11 pass breakups. But that's just because he sticks on his man and he's really good at covering tight ends. Honestly, he's exactly what we need right now. Especially after what happened in that Jacksonville game. We really need a guy like him, and I think he can go late in the first round. And if I had to compare him, I'd say what Tremaine Edmonds did last season for Buffalo, where he really stepped it up as a coverage guy. And, he has that athleticism. He's young. He's talented. He's just has great discipline, and he's a guy that coaches are going to like. And Nick Saban likes him. I mean, he's the captain of the Alabama defense, which is a high praise, high honor, so I think that Boston is a guy that's definitely on our radar, and we are going to be interested in seeing how he develops throughout the course of this season. And for the third update in a row, we are taking a look at one of those Heisman candidates. And yes, I think the first thing you look at is that top right, the comparison. Tyreek Hill, that is high praise for Angelo Hayden out of UCLA. And again, Tyreek Hill maybe is a bit optimistic, as I think that, being an all-pro, difference-making legendary receiver, I mean, let's just call Tyreek Hill legendary because that's what he is at this point. But Angelo Hayden's the closest thing you can call him as a prospect, because you take a look at like deep threats. It's so easy to just say, an elite deep threat is Deshaun Jackson. That's such an easy comp to make. But Tyreek Hill is a bit more accurate, I can say, as a player. Maybe not complete talent-wise. I don't think he's Tyreek Hill fast. But as a player, the deep threat ability, the ability to just rack up catches too if he has to. I mean, there's been games where you could see he has 64 catches on the season, but I mean, if he needs to, he will be a guy who'll catch 10 balls in a game, and he just hasn't been asked to. I mean, Byron Rohit was the quarterback last season for UCLA, and he was just launching deep balls to Angelo Hayden all season long. But when he's had to, he'll step back and just be a guy who can catch a couple of, short passes underneath, make a couple of dudes miss, and turn, something short into a big play. And he's just so hard to cover, and he demands the same attention that Tyreek Hill did in the NFL. He demands that in college, where he's being, shadowed over the top by another safety. He has two guys on him at all times. He is the attention of the defensive secondary. And Hayden, I think, can be Tyreek Hill-like in the NFL, and that's why I have him being an early first rounder. I'd say maybe not top 5, maybe more top 10. And it's crazy that in most draft classes he would be the number 1 receiver, but as we'll get to again later in the season, he's the number 2 receiver in this class behind Raleigh Cordula. And Hayden, first day in the NFL, he's probably going to be like top 10, top 5 deep threat in the league. First day in the NFL, he's going to have some of the quickest feet off the line you will see. First day in the NFL, he's going to be a difference maker. But let's get to the negatives, as he is a nice route runner. He's solid, but I think he needs to get better at the short and intermediate areas of the field, as he can run a deep route. Anything 20 plus yards, he'll run it beautifully, but I think he needs to, get a little more refined in his, under 20 yard routes. And obviously for a player 5'10", under 200 pounds, he's not going to make as many contested catches. And Tyreek Hill has gotten good on the deep ball at making some of these contested catches, but Hayden hasn't really been, required to, because, when you're so much faster than everyone on the field, you're just blowing by everyone, and Rohit's hitting you on the money every time. He hasn't needed to make contested catches, so it's something he's maybe going to have to get better at as he gets to the NFL, where the separation won't be as big. And when you're that fast, you're going to tweak your hamstring a couple times. You're going to have some little tweaks, some injury issues. It's a minor worry, but it's something that players like this go through when you're just too fast for your own good, and your mind's going faster than your body can, and you tweak a hamstring, you pull something, calf injuries. It happens. It's a concern. I think it's a concern like with all players like this, but Hayden's had it a couple times in college. He's missed a couple of games, so I guess be wary on that. But I have very high praise for Angelo Hayden. I think he's going to be an absolute difference maker in the NFL, and I cannot wait to see where he goes. But in the next episode, we will be simulating our bye week. We will be simulating the Steelers game, and we will be playing the Cardinals, and hopefully being, on the field against Kyler Murray and having two of the most dangerous running quarterbacks in the entire league squaring off. But that will do it for the episode, as I quickly want to show you just how historic that game was, as Trevor Lawrence was not too far away from breaking the passing yardage record, and Evan Ingram, third all time, 19 catches. So To say we had a bad day defensively would be an understatement, as we had a historically bad day on defense, and the fact that we only allowed like 40 points might even be a bit of a blessing, as we need to get better, and hopefully we will get better in the next episode, as once again we will be taking on the Arizona Cardinals. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.